Hello, Mooncrafters. Welcome. This is Craft of Moon. Today I'm here with my friend Krisztina. Krisztina is a specialist in medical, financial, and karmic astrology who blends her deep spiritual astrological expertise. She's a rectification specialist. She might explain what that means. She's a Reiki master with a strong educational and medical background. She has a bachelor's and master's in special education and drama therapy, and is a psychiatric nurse and clinical herbalist. She is known for her gypsy soul and sailor's mouth, offering guidance that is direct, straightforward, unfiltered, and sprinkled with sarcasm, advocating for radical honesty with compassion. Her mission is to be a lighthouse for those lost, reminding them that they are not broken and helping them find and embrace the light within themselves. Krisztina, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself any further than that and let our audience know a little bit about some of your work. I know that you've got some publications. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit there too, Krisztina.
Thank you, Ryan, for this beautiful introduction. I'm glad to be here. And actually, I have to tell you, I really love the name of your YouTube channel, The Mooncrafter, because I'm truly obsessed with the moon, especially with the full moon. Yesterday, I was in awe, when I saw the Taurus supermoon, and it is just like absolutely magnify my soul. So I truly love that. So yes, thank you so much, everyone, to having me here and listening. Actually, I do want to say a few more things. I just brought a book, which is Astrology Uncensored. And this is the zodiac with and wisdom. And this is the unreleased form yet because I found two mistakes in it. So obviously I have to redone when I pre-ordered my own book, but you know what, it will be available within a week. And then I also have other books coming on Amazon. One is palmistry, other is, unmask face diagnosis. And also I do have everything about karma and also medical astrology book as well coming. And hopefully by end of the year, all of them going to be published. It is in formatting stage right now. I also want to offer you, I'm ready from July with all the 2026 astrology videos. And also I wrote mini booklets as well, which is actually between 130 to 160 pages. So it's not even mini booklets for each individual sign. And on my website, there is also availability to buy your financial astrology forecast, which is also going to teach you how to invest. I'm a financial practitioner, actually, not advisor practitioner. So you have to play within safety and always do your research, obviously. But what I'm gonna introduce over here and in my work, like I'm giving you opportunity to learn where to put your money, even, like not living on Robinhood because it could be hacked. Especially yesterday we had the Uranus and Mars opposition. Obviously, that is hacking opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who are interested in connecting with Kristina's work, I'll be putting the links to her website, to any of her publications. So all that will be down in the description below. And we'll have that there for any of you who are interested in connecting with Krisztina that way. So that's fantastic. Yeah. So Krisztina, let's introduce our topic for today. Let's tell me what we're going to be talking about.
All right. So actually, we were agreeing, and it was very interesting. I really want to talk about the Uranus return of the US and the US dollar Saturn return and the shift from west to the east, and the Western world, like going to collapse, because I want to make sure you guys are ready right now, and you're not going to lose overnight, like $400,000 could become 40 overnight. So I want to make sure you are not putting your head in the sand. You're not living in denial, please. All right, we're just going to actually interpret and talking about indicators, and we're not going to talk about if we like the political leaders or like anything like that. We just want to make sure you understand you need to be ready. So that is the topic. And before the topic, or we can also bring in some kind of historical parallel. Actually, I have to mention someone over here, and that is Jessica Davidson. I don't know if you know her. She's an Australian astrologer, but she lives in the UK, and she has a lot of written books and everything, and she's amazing because she does so much research. I learned a lot from her just reading her stuff with historical parallels. So she always goes back and does all the researches, when Uranus return in America, and Saturn return for the dollars. Actually, she didn't wrote about that, but she does the historical parallel with Saturn return to countries. I just wanted to give her credit because she's an amazing person over
Yeah.
here.
Could you, also, I was just thinking what just came to mind is that some of the viewers may not be familiar with what a Uranus return is and why it's significant right now, and specifically significant for the United States. So maybe tell us a little bit about what a Uranus return is, the archetype of it, and the significations of it.
All right, so first of all, we have to understand there is synodic cycles in astrology. There is luminaries, there is inner planet, there is outer planet, right? Saturn is actually the wall between the inner and the outer planet. And there is two social planets, which is Jupiter and Saturn, and each individual planet has a return. The solar return is usually the birthday of the country or the birthday of us, right? That are solar return. We also have moon return, Mercury return, those are more often because those are fast planets. They are going fast around the zodiacal cycle. That is actually taking less time to go around the zodiacal cycle. But if we are talking about outer planets like Uranus, which is 84 years to go around the zodiacal sign, so it is once in a lifetime experience, right? And the Uranus return is when Uranus or any other planet, any kind of return is when the planet going to go back exactly to the same degree and same minutes where the natal Uranus was actually, right? And the US has it in 7 degrees, so it's in early degrees. And we're going to experience that right away. We're going to experience when Uranus gonna go back April 26, 2026 to Gemini, because because of the US has Uranus in Gemini. And guess who else has Uranus in Gemini? Trump. So he also going to experience, he might going to experience, because he has it in 17 degrees in later, and Uranus takes 7 years to go across one sign. So you have to understand it's slowpoke. I call them slowpokes, and then so that is the return. So this is why we need to talk about synodic cycle. Synodic cycle always starts when planets, even by transit, planets meets in one point. Synodic cycle, it's not just a return chart over here, but also could be between two outer planets, but we experience with Saturn and Pluto in January 2020, obviously, and you know what happened during that years and during that time.
So
We had
this is when they come to a conjunction, right? When the two
yes,
planets are coming into a conjunction again, right?
yes, they merge together, they coming into a conjunction. That's when actually the synodic cycle starts for the planet. And that is very, very important also, not just the returns, but the synodic cycle also. So that's what we're also going to talk about right now when we see the return, Uranus return of America. Also because we also going to talk about one synodic cycle over here, which is going to be Uranus and Pluto trine as
So
well.
the
So
so the return is, and Uranus is an 84 year return cycle. So the return is when the planet goes to the same degree in the zodiac, and that's just all by itself, right? But then the
yes,
synodic cycle is involving two planets, two or more planets, where they form a conjunction, and that creates a
yes,
cycle for those two planets for when they next form another conjunction.
yes,
Great.
yes. So
Fantastic.
that's what we're going to talk about. And, you're also going to share the charts. But first, I really want to just, talk a tiny little bit of, what's going on geopolitically and why is the shift going to happen. So the viewers going to understand why we get to be ready, for example, for a civil war or for the US dollar to worth nothing. The
Mm.
US actually, how much, guess how much debt we have.
Tell
Do you
me.
know?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it goes up every second, so I'm not sure.
$37 trillion debt we
37
have.
trillion? Wow. I think
Yes.
the last time I paid attention to it, it was maybe 13. I mean, it was probably more than that, but I'm exaggerating. But 37 is a lot.
It is a lot. So obviously, they need to deflate the dollars. That is
Yeah.
the only way we are capable to actually pay the debts in America because,
Yes.
they printed a lot of money. All right.
Yes.
So how can you do that? First of all, we're going to bypass banks, and that's why crypto world is coming in, right?
Mm.
But if they deflate the dollar value going to cost nothing. As I said, 40,000 could cost 40 overnight, and it's going to be just like this to pay
Mm.
the $37 trillion, right?
Mm.
So that's what it is. That's why it's very, very important to know. Also, you have to understand the petrodollar is over. And why is that over? Because actually they have the BRICS nation. And if
Mm-hmm.
you know that the BRICS nation, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, and also Indonesia. But
Mm-hmm.
right now we have a lot more partner countries in it, and which is Belarus, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Venezuela, Thailand, Vietnam, Nigeria, Indonesia, I already said. So they own 72% of the resources on the earth.
Mm.
They have more than 5 billion people who belong from them because India, China has a huge population, guys, obviously,
Yeah.
and they own almost 90% of the rare earth
Mm-hmm.
minerals.
Mm-hmm.
So when we put tariffs actually on different countries, right? First, also, you have to understand the tariff. If the population is not exactly, for example, a German population, guys, it's very, very low, right? We know that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
or even Canada has only 40 million people and the US has 365 million. We cannot expect them to consume exactly the same amount of goods like American does. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing is America only have ethanol, but other countries cannot live without. But you have to understand everything else is coming in from China, from Brazil, the earth minerals, which we need for um, but computing, oh my God, quantum computing
Quantum computing, yeah.
technology, space rocket
Mm-hmm.
type. For example, the Brazilian niobium, which is heat resistant and it's also actually corrosion resistant.
Mm.
Brazil owns 90% of it. Brazil gonna say, I'm not giving anything to the US because you put 100% tariff on me. I'm gonna sell everything to China. So
Mm.
you have to understand we need to
Yeah.
import from those countries because we don't have those
Right.
resources.
Right.
So, and who is eating up the tariff? Not the billionaires, never will.
Mm. Right.
It's only the consumers, you
Mm-hmm.
and me, and whoever is watching over here.
Mm-hmm.
Billionaires, oligarchy, never going to suffer, or millionaires neither. Who
It's
gonna
like
not?
it's like sales tax is kind of a tax on the poor people,
Yes.
because it's the poor people have to spend most of their income on their things, you know, like, so all of us, you know, anybody, and I'm saying poor, like non-billionaire, like anybody who's like making less than $1 million or something like that, you're going to be spending most of your income on, you know, food or computers or gadgets or things that you need. And that's like a sales tax. And that's what these tariffs are doing. They're impacting the people who are buying stuff, right?
Yeah, it's going on your cheese and on your eggs, and
Mm-hmm.
you know it's very very difficult not to say. Actually, I saw that the very first time when the tariff came in, Amazon actually showed how much the price
I
is going
remember
up
that.
because of
I
tariff.
remember
I was
that.
like, oh my God, I was so stupid not to take a picture. I should have known it's
Right.
going to be taken off.
Right.
Obviously, it was, but I was like, oh my God, we swallow this whole thing. So,
And it's
yeah,
weird
who
because they do have to show you the sales tax, right? So
yeah,
there's a law that says they have to show you the sales tax. And I don't think they made a law about the tariffs. It's just that Trump wanted it removed or something. But
yeah.
you know, like if they make a law, then they have to put it on there. So, I mean, like, it's like a VAT kind of like, you know, show
Right
what's
now, it
there,
is
right?
just quietly actually built into the price. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they did. They don't show that on the tax. The tax is the same. So actually, they didn't show just the price significantly increased.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even realize because of, you're just buying stuff, pressing it. It's very
Right.
easy on computer. So that's what's happening. So I just wanted to make sure a few things you understand. Why is it unfair? Who is following? And you know what, Ryan, the poor people got used to be hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and they also were actually living on welfare, a lot of them. So right now it's taken away, so they're going to also, suffer from it. But the hungry men, they already got used to. So that is actually the middle class who going to suffer a lot. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I want to tell people, if you have 401k, and you're already going to pay 30% of tax when you're taking it out, when you get retired. But if the inflation is going to be greater than 60% this year, from January 20 till November 1st, we already inflated 12%, just so you know, American
Wow.
dollar.
Wow.
So this is crazy. And next
Yeah.
year, when we're going to go closer to the Uranus return of the US and Saturn return to the US dollar, you will see it can actually inflate over 70, 80%. So
I have a really strange metric for inflation. It's it's the Burger King burger inflation metric. And I remember before the pandemic, you could buy the cheapest like small single patty burger, you know, Burger King for like under $1 was like 89 cents or something like that. And now that same burger is like 250 or something like that, and that's just in the last 5 years. You know,
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to go up to $12 because
Yeah.
of the
And
inflation.
I'm not talking about their big Whopper burger. I'm just talking about their little basic single patty with a pickle and a little bit of sauce. You know, yeah.
Yeah. And that would be great for the people who actually, the homeless, and that they could afford that, and at least they wouldn't go and totally hungry. But
Hmm.
right now they won't be able to afford that. So this is a real issue over here. So yes, guys, Uranus return or Saturn return is when the planet goes back exactly to the same degree, same minute. But within 8-degree orb in and out. Usually, every single return is very, very intense when it's actually applying.
Mm.
Applying aspect is when it's moving forward. When it's separating already, it's not going to be that intense and that's heavy on us. So that's
And
also
again, yeah, and again, just for our viewers, when we talk about an applying aspect, we're talking about the faster planet is moving towards the slower planet. We call that an applying, and then
yes.
when the faster planet is moving away from that planet, then it's out of the application. Yeah.
And in this case, because we're talking about return to the natal chart, in this case, the transit planet is moving toward to the natal
Mm-hmm.
until it's exact. And the moment it's going to move away from the natal planet, it's going to actually become easier and
Mm-hmm.
breezier for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. and I count within 8 orb. I'm not gonna go into the orbs because it's like a whole astrology course over here. But yes,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to say a little bit of, like
Yeah.
education over here, what we have to actually, look at before we going to analyze anything. And, as I said, Uranus return in America, if you check the historical parallel, for example, the Uranus return, it was always a civil war. When Uranus came from Taurus and on the cusp too, going to Gemini, it's always a civil war. Also, Uranus in Taurus on November 7th, tomorrow, it's going to dip back for, because we're not going to be alive when the next time Uranus is going to be in Taurus anymore. So it's going to be there for 7 months. It's a significant change on the financial industry, in crypto industry and in financial industry. Uranus in Taurus, it's in fall. So it has no dignity. It's out of dignity. It's very weak and very frustrated. So it's acting crazy. It's bringing in, like crazy volatility because Uranus is volatility. Neptune is inflation. Saturn is deflation, right? Saturn is also bureaucracy, could be as well if we are checking, the political ideology. Saturn, Neptune together could be something to do with socialist welfare, things like that. But, because it's also going to conjunct next year, February 20, which is once in a lifetime experience, really, in
Mm.
areas Saturn gonna be in its fall. The US dollar actually in its fall because Saturn in Aries, it's in fall as well. So we're gonna talk about that. Why is it going to be really, really frustrated? And like that's happening when the US had a Saturn return 28 years ago, because the Saturn return going around the Saturn return between 28 to 29.5 years every single time, right? It depends how long it's going to go in retrograde periods, but it is usually 28, 29 years. So the US experienced the US dollar as Saturn return 29 years ago, when the value of the dollar, if you are checking the historical parallel of Jessica Davidson again, yes, there was a significant inflation of the dollar. Yes.
Mm.
So right now, because Uranus also going to return in the Americas chart, right now, unfortunately, those two significance, unfortunately, going to create a civil war and it's going to crash the dollar to worth
Mm.
nothing.
Wow. That's
Yes.
ominous.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not a good news. But if you prepared, I like that's why I'm telling everyone, I'm the lighthouse over here because I'm your co-pilot. I'm going to tell you if there is a shitstorm coming, and
Right.
you have to get ready for that. So
Yeah, I
you're
mean, when we
going
know, if we know the storm is coming, right? If we know something like when the tornado's on the way, let's go
yeah,
down into our tornado cellar, right? Like you
yeah.
have to like, it's not about succumbing to the fear. It's about finding a way to manage your own self and your life to be as the best prepared you possibly can.
Yeah, you find a way to prepare it. And I always get prepared. I live in Florida, obviously, because of the hurricane season. I'm always ready to go, like, so yes, you have to get ready for that. And that's why I just wanted to tell you guys. And, that's why I also wanted to, for example, if you want to talk a little bit more about, the earth mineral, what America
Mm.
needs, for example, Venezuela has a lot of earth mineral, but Venezuela have 60% of the oil deposit right now of the earth, which is really thick. Guess why we need to have the war on drugs in Venezuela? It's not because of war on drugs.
Mm.
That thing, nothing really comes from Venezuela. It comes from Colombia and
Right.
still from
Right.
Mexico and Ecuador, but they are because of they need their minerals, they need their gold, they need their emerald, the
Right.
ruby
Right.
deposit in Venezuela, and the oil is more than any Arabic countries has. So that's what it is. Why do we have cloud seeding, guys? And why do we have climate engineering? That is Uranus in Gemini also, by the
Mm.
way. So that's the topic of that. Because, for example, Jamaica had a category 6, it would be category 6 hurricane, but we are only counting till 5. Jamaica has red mud, and that's bauxite. And they say actually they really want to have that kind of rare mineral, and they want to make sure it only could be actually mined if there is no habitant on Jamaica. So
Hmm.
it would be so nice if a hurricane comes in and
Hmm.
moves all Jamaican out, and then
Hmm.
they can, you know, this is what it is right now. They are capable actually to move and create exodus
Hmm.
with Gemini, Uranus in Gemini, which is cloud engineering. It is climate engineering. So they are
Wow.
capable of do that. Yeah. But yes, the minerals is very important. Brazil with the niobium, China has a deposit. Also, China already built a huge district for real gold vaults.
Hmm.
So they have a huge entire, and in 2022, actually, that was the Biden administration, they did a mistake and nobody actually trusted in the US anymore.
Hmm.
And they actually moved, and right now nobody respects US at all. And they moved the gold to China, and China still has a huge gold deposit.
I've heard
Uruguay,
about that. I've heard about the China experience with gold, and
yeah,
that's interesting to know that they're building a deeper level of reserve there. You know,
it's already built.
yeah.
80% of the gold vault, the billionaires moved the gold to China.
Hmm.
It's 80% is there right now, not in America. Nobody
Wow.
keeps the money here anymore. Yeah. This,
Wow.
this, you know, and that's why gold also going to be the currency. So actually, if you have silver, tangible,
Mm-hmm.
tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have silver and what is that, gold coins, you are okay because you will be. So that's where I invested, and that's
I
very
mean,
important.
yeah, I remember when I was living in Hong Kong, you could have at HSBC, you can have a gold account, and you just like you could actually go to the bank and withdraw your gold and go put gold into you. Like you just like treat it like any kind of money where you go and deposit it into the bank and go pull gold out. And yeah, like it's an actual gold account. And then when you log in online, you see your gold that you have in your
Yeah.
bank account. Yeah, I mean, because you can in Hong Kong at least you can have your bank account can have like I forget exactly how many it was. It was like 15 or 20 currencies, and they're all in the same bank account. And you can just look at them all there, and they roll up into your Hong Kong dollar. And gold was one of the currencies that you could have in your account. Yeah.
And especially when paper money is not going to worth anything. And believe me, if the US dollar is going down, we are interwoven. So
Mm-hmm.
that is going to affect Canadian, Australian, like it's gonna affect dollars in general. And that's why the gold going to be, and anyway, Jupiter gonna go to Leo already. So
Mm.
that's also the gold is going to rise. We have a numerology 1 year, which is ruled by the sun, fifth house gold. So we're going to be really gold based, guys. So I just want you to know before we check the chart over here, that's gonna happen. But I'm telling you, you lived in Hong Kong. Actually, the Chinese government right now is put a lot of money to actually make sure their people,
Mm.
the inhabitant of China, has longevity, and at least they want to prolong their life with 2 years, the next
Mm.
5 years. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Huh.
They have the best EV vehicles. It's actually selling more than Tesla.
Wow.
It's taking over in Kazakhstan and Russia and
Mm.
they cleared out the air.
Hmm.
So, and and Korea is the other one, Seoul, and Korea over there, they actually had a GDP of $80 annually, which was really bad in the 80s. Right now it's 35,000. So coming from there within 40 years, they created something amazing and longevity. And it's really we are shifting on the
Wow. That's
is
amazing.
definitely. All
That's
right, so
amazing.
why don't we bring up actually the
Okay.
US chart?
Let's do it. Let me see if this technology continues to work. Let's see if the screen share happens. And we're shifting now. And looks good. We have the US chart up here on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, what I want to tell you guys, this is actually, I casted the chart over here for November 1st, 2025, but it's showing the progress chart here for you and not the transit chart. You just have to understand July 4th of 2026, we're going to have Uranus and Mars conjunction, which is a synodic cycle. Today, as I was talking about, Uranus and Mars is opposing in Sagittarius and Gemini, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it could bring in, cyber attacks. It could bring in actually some kind of terror attacks, false flag attack as well. So, it could be something like that, anything to do with airplane disaster, anything to do with civil wars, and, also something to do with terrorism, unfortunately, explosion of nuclear power, right?
Mm.
So when the US has the Mars and Uranus conjunction on the 250th birthday of the US, we also going to have happen that on 6 degrees of Gemini, which is already conjuncting, not exact, but already conjunct the US natal Uranus. Why is it important? Uranus, Mars is anything to do with explosive, as I said, anything to do with civil war. That is the historical parallel. When
Mm.
the US had Uranus return, we always had some kind of social unrest, some
Mm.
kind of death on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening. And it's happening exactly on the big celebration of 250th birthday, right? The seventh house of the US is open enemies
Mm. Mm-hmm.
also. So you have to alliances or open
Mm-hmm.
enemies as well. All
That's
right.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, and the US has a Sagittarius ascendant over here. And that is really important to see what's going on right now here. I did put a few asteroid here, which is very destructive. And I also put actually, Israel here, which
Mm.
is conjuncting the US Mercury at this moment. And by that time, and Jupiter gonna go on soon as well. Uh, but by that time, when it's going to happen, let me see where is the. Yes, so actually, it's going to not be affected by that, but definitely it's open enemies. And let me just go on my chart. Actually, I'm going to create a different chart over here, and I'm gonna go to next year to make sure I'm talking about what I need to talk about. So it's July 4th. Okay, here. And it's going to be chart just a second because I have to change the progress chart for you guys. And natal and transit. Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm talking about, okay. Yes, so it's going to actually create, a conjunction on the return. So it's definitely going to be social unrest and people going to protest
Hmm.
on the street. Yes.
Hmm.
So, the
And
protest is
and
also,
that's by transit you're talking about.
yes, transit. Yes, by transit.
But
Yes, yes, yes.
the chart we're looking here on image one is the progressed chart, right?
Yes, I wanted to do the
Yeah.
progress because the
Yeah.
transit,
Yeah.
everybody knows what I'm
Everybody can see
talking
the transit.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody actually, and we are mentioning the transit over here, but I just showed the progress chart to be understanding, because many times I'm checking the progress as well, because it's very important,
Hmm.
to know about the progress chart. Yes. So this is going to be a huge social unrest over here. And the US chart is a Sagittarius rising. So it's actually in opposition with its ascendant, with its identity,
Hmm.
and the US moon is in Aquarius, actually, and it's very late degrees. So it's out of sign square with the moon. It's not exact square, but it's out of sign square, and it's actually representing the moon is the public. It's the people of the country. It's
Hmm.
the sentiment of the people in
Mm-hmm.
mundane and astrology. So what are we going to do? What's going to happen over here? Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
this could be like the people on the street, and it could be actually fatal for a lot of people. On the other hand, it's also hacking the people because, the US government want to have the golden
Mm-hmm.
dome, which is actually Palantir, guys, which is surveillance on Earth.
Mm.
Uranus in Gemini, it's surveillance. Uranus and Mars conjunction on Uranus return, squaring the moon, it is actually going to maybe stop even the people to vote because of the moon is the public, right? And
Mm.
next year around that time we're going to
Mm-hmm.
have the how do you call that, the middle voting? Oh my god, I forgot.
The
Not primaries, midterm election, midterm.
midterm election. Yeah.
In it. It's in
Yeah.
it. Okay. And that is actually because of the Mars is the military, it's soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the street. So ICE and military, it's going to be weaponized, the street weaponized. So the public wants to have a change, right, in Aquarius and can't have the change because it's gonna be militarized, or it could be some kind of cyber attack, and they say vote on computer, but it's gonna be stolen. It's going to be messed up
Mm.
and stolen. So it's going to make people to go
You
to
think
this.
at this next midterm, you're thinking,
Yes. Mhm.
mm.
Yes. They're going to be avoid election, militarize the streets, and
Mm.
because it's gonna happen online, which is
Mm-hmm.
very easy, just like Elon Musk said, it's very easy to, actually crack the system, and not
Mm.
because of I believe he's a genius, but I believe he has a lot of genius around. He's also
Mm.
a kind of genius because he created whatever he created. Doesn't matter how did he get it, but if you are a trillionaire, billionaire, like, come on, yes,
Right.
that's obviously you did something, uh, no matter how, but that's
Yeah.
smart or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to show you guys over here. And also, it is, as I said, cyber attack, because you have to understand what does Uranus means also. So
Mm.
it's very important when we translate astrology, we understand the keywords, for example, of the planets. And for example, what does it mean? Like it's electricity, it's anything to do with the genius, with erotic
Mm.
behavior. They
Mm-hmm.
want to fight for liberation. Mars is fighting, Uranus is liberation.
Mm.
Fight for the gay rights. Uranus also represents the gays.
Mm.
So it is on the street to fighting for the ones who are not fitting in the mold, who are
Mm.
not atypical, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Or no,
Mm-hmm.
not stereotypical,
Mm.
atypical. That could be. Uranus is the Akashic record. Uranus is the genius, the autistic people, the dementia, things like that. So there could be also something to do like the chips in the brain, because they already going to implant a lot of chips. And,
Mm.
it could be like, okay, is it ethical? Who is going to be the whistleblower? We already had one who died,
Mm.
you know, the ChatGPT guy, the young guy, Shujin,
I didn't hear about
November
that.
November 22nd, what was his birthday. He got killed the next day, yes. And actually, they said it's suicide, but the parents did an autopsy and it was not. It's on Tucker Carlson and it's all over in the news. And I did actually an amazing astrology reading about this,
Huh.
and also about Charlie Kirk. And, you know, he was working with Sam Altman. Together, they created actually ChatGPT. And this young dude left the company and was a whistleblower.
Hmm.
But Sam Altman is really close to Peter Thiel and Palantir, obviously. Whatever,
Wow.
you can check the Tucker Carlson interview. It's very disturbing. Who
Interesting.
actually Sam Altman. So yeah, It could be something to do with hacking, surveillance. Guys, we're going to have the digital ID everywhere. We won't be able to. I mean, I'm going to refuse to have it. I don't know how long am I going to be able to. I want to actually change my cell phone and change from, to Android or flip phone or whatever. But,
Yeah.
gonna make your life actually harder if you don't use it, but obviously then you're not going to have surveillance. And in finances, Uranus is cryptocurrency as well. So that's why I said they want to go to crypto. That's why the recent administration and Trump's children are so into crypto and pushing the financial liberty, pushing any kind of crypto. They got billions out of that because of they obviously know we're going to bypass crypto. I mean, paper money. So that's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
definitely
That's a lot.
technology disruption. Oh yeah, Ryan. Uranus is military drones, and it's also a nuclear powerhouses, and it's also Mars and Uranus could bring in some kind of Hiroshima things to the U.S. We didn't have it since then, but it could bring in or land some kind of attack. And it causes also false flag. Someone will think it's alliance, but it's not going to attack and call it like, like some other, going to blame it on other countries. So it could be that. But on the market, it's blockchains, it's, space stocks. So for example, SpaceX or any kind of other space stocks could go significantly up during this time. It's volatility, but also it's really good for cryptos. Yes. So, decentralized money and decentralized anything, with uh, stock market, but definitely it could be surveillance and some kind of cyber attack on us. They're going to somehow have uh, devices all over in our government and know every kind of secret of the
Wow.
government.
That's scary.
And that's why, yeah, it's already there. But
Mm.
yes. All right,
Wow.
why don't we bring up another chart, which is
Sure.
also not good,
Yeah.
the US dollar. Let me
Okay.
find it over here and
Yeah.
let me see where is the USD for
Yep. I
me.
have it here, the one you gave me.
Okay.
And I have it for the 2nd of April, 1792. That's what you had, just whatever you had on your image, right? Yeah.
Yes, 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 exactly. You
And
have
again,
the
we're looking, it looks like, again, I'm just looking at the chart here. We're looking at progressions on the outside.
yes,
So the inner
progression.
circle is the natal chart, and then the progressions on the outer ring. Yeah.
Just make sure you focus on the inner chart, guys, because
Yeah.
again, I explain everything by, by transit over here. So, all right. So what we have actually over here, the US dollar has a Saturn in fall in the 12th house. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're going to have the 250th big celebration of the US, which is going to become a civil war and protest. Uranus is going to be 2 degrees away with Mars on the natal Uranus. The US dollar actually going to be Saturn already at 15 degrees. So only 5 degrees away from the natal Saturn of the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost, exact. Why is it really important? Because this civil war going to crash the dollar, July going to be terrible in the US. So you need to be ready with food, with water. You need to make sure you and your loved one are actually protected and safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. You have money, you have, not cash, not paper, not dollars, something to
Mm-hmm.
do with silver coins. Why do I say silver? Going to be really important because silver has a Cancer stellium and the Gemini stellium in the chart. And because of Uranus gonna go to Gemini, it's going to for 7 years still expand the value of the silver. And because right now Jupiter is in Cancer exalted,
Mm-hmm.
going on the silver stellium, obviously the next 8 years for silver going to be significant. Why is it really important? Silver value is less than gold. You're not gonna be using one gold coin to pay for a bread. It's better to have silver because the value of the silver is less still, and you are capable to move that money like that currency, the silver. On the other hand, silver also going to be really valued because we're gonna use uranium and lithium, which is representing Uranus in Gemini. So those stock gonna go up like crazy. And anything to do with unconventional energy technology, SMR, XRP, any kind of cryptos like that. But it's gonna take over the dollar, right? I'm just saying where you can look and research to invest in. But uranium and lithium for battery, right? Because of the EV vehicles, we still need battery. We're not using solar energy yet, unfortunately. But anyway, we do, Coco, we do. But anyway, like it's still battery. Lithium needs to have battery. But because they're using for the big rockets and everything else like that, we're gonna use silver for computers, for smaller technological devices. Yes. It's a bypass for uranium and lithium to use in smaller technological devices. So that's very important. But as you can see, the dollar is doomed next year. So by the time we are having, by the way, we're gonna check Donald Trump's chart also because he's gonna have the 80th birthday 2 weeks before when the US going to have the 250th birthday. So it's already going to start on Trump's birthday. Before Trump's birthday, the whole entire war and people protest. It's gonna be protest at the beginning. Yes. So guys, I just want to tell you, I really want to help. It's nothing with gloom and bloom. I mean, it is, unfortunately, it is what it is. It is the indicators over here. But please make sure you and your loved one are fine. Make sure you and your loved one are not going to get hacked by cyber attack and losing all your money. Make sure you are not keeping your crypto on Robinhood where you bought it. Only if you want to trade a little bit, you can keep some. But if you invest it for a long term, make sure that's on Ledger. Make sure you have a cold wallet where you're keeping, which is they're not capable to do cyber attack yet on it. Like obviously, some technology is, and the AI, it's like gonna become genius within 2 years. It's gonna take over 47% of the job from humanity. So, we are getting there. Yeah. But I just want you to make sure you're ready, you have food, you planted food, or you have a hydroponic garden. Actually, Uranus and Gemini, it's also something to do with maybe even hydroponic gardens. We're gonna have a lot of garden on the top of the skyscrapers. They're going to do urban farming. So that's coming in, yeah. It's coming in, but because the soil is depleted, and yeah. But definitely the energy and petrodollar is changing, and yes, it is going to be something big. And also we do have the Saturn Neptune conjunction, which is going to be a huge market manipulation on February 20. You're gonna feel it right before in January already because it's getting very close to each other's. Actually, February 13th, Saturn also goes. Neptune goes January 26th to Aries, and Saturn gonna go February 13th. We're going to have an eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th with the Chinese New Year coming in. So, which is a fire horse, which is very fast energy. The rebel also, the horse doesn't want to be tamed, doesn't want to be controlled. So that's what's the energy gonna be over there.
Wow.
So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of solar flare also with the sun and the frequency of the sun for numerologically. So the solar flare is obviously interrupts, technology and airplanes. Uranus in Gemini with Mars over there, it could be drone attacks, it could be a lot of airplane, crashes. Why?
Mm.
Because we already don't have actually controllers. Like the government shut down, we have no controllers. There is gonna be obviously more mistakes. They tired, they
Mm.
over, they overworked. So that's what we can actually expect during that time.
Hmm. Wow.
Any question?
Yeah. No, just you made me think about what the solar flares is. Um, and I can't quite remember, but there is like a cyclical nature to the solar flares, isn't there?
That is actually, 5, 6, 7G geometric storms. And
Mm.
actually, it's a lot of radiation coming out
Mm-hmm.
from that. So you
Mm-hmm.
will you will see a lot of radiation, but also it's interrupting everything with technology.
Mm.
And I don't know, have you ever seen the movie but the Obamas actually been the producer? And it was like,
The ocean one?
no, no, no. End of the. Oh, let me just check it for you guys.
Yeah.
It was an amazing but very eye-opening. I was sitting over there with my kids and I said, "What the happened over here?" Obama's movie producing end of the. Okay, what is the movie? Let me see. Leave the world behind.
Hmm.
Leave the
Okay.
world behind. I actually recommend that to everyone because when I watched it, and then after I watched, the Joe Rogan show and, a few shows, and they were talking about that, that is actually uh, a prediction, but the controlled prediction, they call
Hmm.
it. So just like the Simpsons, somebody
Yeah.
must know something with somebody must be close to the fire because they always write about everything. And yes. Also, just watch it
Right.
because this is, oh my God, it's like really eye-opening, and
Yeah.
definitely anything to do with vehicles which is controlled by technology could
Yeah.
have some kind of major hacking, and they could slam to the, like to the side of the road, or creating accidents,
Hmm.
taking over and not allowing you to control the vehicle. It could be that. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I also tell everyone, please watch for different countries' stock market. Don't rely on American
Right.
stock market.
Right.
As you said, and probably you can say a lot about that when you were and lived in Hong Kong, and you could have 50 different currencies. By
Mm-hmm.
the way, the BRICS nation in 2026 going to come up with a BRIC currency to bypass petrodollar, guys.
Mm.
That's gonna increase like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That'll be
So just make
something to
sure
watch
you
for.
are
Yeah.
safe. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Make sure if you invest in uranium or lithium, it's not only on SPX or or Dow Jones over here,
Mm-hmm.
but you go to the Australian, Canadian,
Mm.
and Brazilian or
Mm-hmm.
Mexican stock market as well, because I'm telling you, you're going to be fine then.
Yeah. Do you want to? There's two more charts here in the set you gave me. Do you want to touch on those, or
Yes,
you?
we can touch on Trumps, and
Okay.
because Trumps is very important, and we can do the
Okay.
JD also just for a second, a
Yeah, we can just touch on
nanosecond.
them quick. Let me flip up the Trump chart here. I think yeah, here's Trump. Yeah, I got it up here on the screen.
Okay, let me see where is my Trump here. Okay, I have my Trump here. All right. So as I don't know if you know that some of you might know me from social media. Last year in January 2024, I was the first one who predicted Trump going to be hit actually on the ear, on the head by
Hmm.
a gunshot.
Wow.
And I want to show you something because you see also for Trump, you see the uh, what is that, the progress chart, and the
Hmm.
progress Israel is on his midheaven, and it was on his midheaven when Uranus Mars conjuncted with Algol and progress midheaven,
Mm.
progress Israel on his midheaven,
Mm-hmm.
squaring his Mars and ascendant. That was the shot. Was it staged? Perhaps. Was it by them? Not necessarily.
Mm.
It could have been because of, another country staged it and stay in the line. Otherwise, it's going to happen the same things with you as it happened with Kennedy. So
Mm.
that could be also. Yes, over there. And also I brought up the Kennedy asteroid as well and everything else, because when I do research, I go into also I check the assassination for Charlie Kirk also, as actually it was the Arabic lots. I use a lot of Arabic lots as well. And I checked actually the assassination and it was like, oh my God, what just happened over there? So it was actually on Trump's midheaven also. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah, the transit one, I was like,
Mm.
wow, okay, so that was scary. But I just wanted to show you over here, he also have a 17 degrees Uranus. Uranus going to go up all the way, like 10 degrees next year. Obviously, it's only 7 degrees away. For outer planet, we can also give 12 orbs, 12-degree orbs for
Mm.
conjunction. So it's already going to start to conjunct very early for him. You know, in medical astrology, Uranus North Node and the Sun conjunction could actually reveal some kind of a neurological disease, which is a stroke, and
Mm.
like not capable to speak because of the in Gemini. So I assume he will actually have some kind of stroke, uh, and yeah, so that's what I feel. And he has Uranus and Mars in the 11th house, the Congress and the people who he thinks they are his oligarchy friends gonna sell him out.
I was just listening to an interview with oh, what's that House representative? Um, she's always she's in the news a lot, and Trump's always opposing her. Um,
Marjorie
no,
Taylor Greene.
no, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was another woman. Anyway, she was saying that she thinks that he might have already had he might have already had a stroke.
Okay, is she Democrat or Republican?
She's a I think she's a Democrat.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay. So
I'm not.
so because of rest of them are phrasing him. So okay,
Mm.
so yes, obviously there was something.
She was talking about the symptoms, like looking at the symptoms, or maybe it wasn't a. I can't remember who I was. It was an interview I was just listening to yesterday, I think, and maybe it wasn't a representative, but somebody was talking about how they were like looking at the symptoms that they see that he's been exhibiting, and that there's a strong possibility that he may already have had a stroke.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
swollen ankles. He has a lot of things going on, IVs on the hand, you can see. On the other hand, come on,
Mm.
he's 80 years old. So at age 80, you would want to actually relax and, just be with your grandchildren and not to
Mm.
fly all the time. Flying to me,
Yeah.
it's taking so much out from me. I always tell the boys I don't want to travel anymore,
Right.
and but we will because we are just travelers. But it's like, oh my God, right now it's so. Even if it's comfortable and luxurious, because they have luxurious planes, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
still taking a lot. If you have to meet people all the time, of course he's confused, and it's not necessarily because of the stroke. Yes, he could have early, not early set of, but some kind of dementia, obviously, like, with
Mm-hmm.
his age. What he did in Japan right now, if you saw that, he was totally, but he's 80, he's
Mm.
just like, okay, let's just get over with. I don't want to meet anyone anymore. It's hot, just like it's hot for us younger ones.
Mm-hmm.
At age 80, guys, it's very difficult, but I totally see to have something over there for him. And
Mm.
unfortunately, we're going to have right now, we have the Uranus Mars opposition yesterday, today, and it's going to affect another 2 weeks. So his life could be actually in danger for another 2 weeks, right?
Mm. Mm.
When it's gonna conjunct again next year, and he also has a solar return close by, so obviously it could create some kind of issue over there. And the sun is also the heart, but something to do with the circulation, which is creating a blockage, a stroke because of the, yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his chart is very very difficult, as I say, because yeah, very very difficult.
I mean, one thing just for people that are watching that may not be tying in all the things is just recognizing that, you know, Capricorn is his sixth house, which is, you know, traditionally the house of bad fortune, and is the joy of Mars, right? So and with Capricorn being the exaltation of Mars, so Mars is very connected to his conditions of bad fortune, you could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also health wise, and also by the time when Uranus and Mars gonna be 5 degrees, right,
Mm-hmm.
conjunction in the 11th house, it's out of sign square with his ascendant again.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's the joy and the exaltation. Capricorn is exaltation and the joy of the sixth house of Mars. And it's going to be in the 11th, but squaring with his ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, there could be some kind of major, either an attack,
Mm.
or it could be something to do with you know, like something what seems like a heart attack and stroke, but it could be initiated
Mm.
by a flower, you know,
Mm.
that is, you know, which causing a heart attack or whatever. So it could be initiated by someone, but it's still representing a
Mm.
stroke, but you know, it
Yeah.
could be actually an attack against him. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Pluto also, it's across his Pluto already by that time. Actually, it is just like 2 degrees. So there is a Pluto opposition. His progress Saturn also opposing Pluto. You know, then the node, the last eclipse in Pisces in the 8th house of death, and it's on Archangel Gabriel, going to be on August 26th. August 28, 2026, it's going to actually oppose his progress sun 9 degrees.
Mm.
So the eclipse gonna happen 4 degrees, but it is an opposition of the progress sun, his vitality, you know.
Mm.
Uh, there is obviously a lot of things happening. You know, Mars gonna just previously on his birthday, actually, Mars going to be on his ascendant with progress Israel exactly on his birthday, solar return, and opposing his progress moon in the 4th house in Scorpio. And the 4th house, we know it's ending.
Mm.
It's also the different political party
Mm.
in astrology.
Mm-hmm.
The political party, what the government has, it's always the 10th house, and the opposition is always the 4th house. But anyway, he has the moon, progress moon in 21 degree, so it's going to oppose progress Israel and the midheaven on his birthday, when Mars actually gonna be
Wow.
exact on his midheaven, squaring with his ascendant and natal Mars, squaring with the progress moon. So this is
Mm.
something like, oh, okay, by the time he somehow will be removed, and let's see when's
Mm-hmm.
here. So why is the inflation? Why is Trump? Why is, you know, America is going to shift power? I'm just, you know, indicators over here. What is in
Yeah.
timeline? So
Yeah.
let's see when's over here. Vance has 27 degrees Leo ascendant. Also, the Leo sun is very early
Should we
degrees.
flip to the
On,
Vance chart?
yes, yes, please.
Okay.
So here is Vance. Let me go. So he's very Leo, and I just learned actually about Vance. He actually wanted to be a drag queen. I didn't
Is
know
that
that.
right?
Yes, yes. It was just like, it was funny to me, whatever. But all right.
He wants
So
to be he in his when he was younger he wanted to be a drag queen.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He was raised by his grandmother. They were very poor. The parents were drug addicts, and you know, there was a lot of trauma. And Peter Thiel is the one who made him,
Mm.
obviously. And you know, for example, I put Peter, asteroid Peter, over here, and
Mm-hmm.
it is actually conjunct with his part of fortune in the 4th house,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So because of GD Vance was totally Democrats and against Trump,
Mm-hmm.
so Peter Thiel made him as first as was an opposition,
Mm.
and then he became, because they had to make him to be the vice president. He was not the first one for Trump. Actually, the very first they asked Kennedy. Kennedy said no, and then they asked the Indian guy. What was his name? Hmm. He was actually a very good communicator. I forget his name. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't win. So I'm just saying I put Peter over here for
Interesting.
just wanted to make, because
Mm-hmm.
Peter Thiel made him. Yes, but
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, he also going to, because he also has the midheaven 22 degrees in Taurus. By the way, guys, we have to talk a little tiny bit over here, the honorific degree, only in fixed stars, nowhere else,
Mm.
but only in fixed stars, 22 degrees. So fixed stars is Scorpio, Taurus, and also Leo and Aquarius. That is the kill and to be killed degree, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Epstein actually had the sun in 22 degrees in Scorpio in the eighth house.
Mm.
So obviously, kill or to be killed, but only in fixed stars. So Vance has midheaven to 22 degrees. So actually, it could be also coming in some kind of major issue with public, like that Kirk had. But before that, it could be, he's taking over because he gonna have Jupiter moving on his sun. The sun is in 10 degrees, 22 minutes. Jupiter going to come here June 30th,
Mm-hmm.
and July going to be the social unrest, right? Trump health is going to go down on his birthday, June, and after the social unrest, and then after June, July, end of July could be like a takeover, because Jupiter going on his sun and gonna be exact in beginning of August, so it could be a takeover by Vance.
Mm.
So I just wanted to show the parallel in the fourth
Wow.
chart,
Yeah.
and also why do we talk about that? Why do we have to get prepared? Why do you have to make sure you are safe? Guys, if the trillionaires and billionaires showing their bunkers
Mm.
on TV, and they are talking about that, how many people they can take and their friends,
Hmm.
that is something then.
That is wild. Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, that
It's a
is.
lot to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I truly believe I love Eminem. And, Eminem uh, has a song. I'm scared of him also, but I also love him. But he has a song like, we weather the storm together. Doesn't matter if it's rains or like we hold each other hand and we make sure we stand still and we go forward and move
Mm.
forward. So I truly believe we were born right now because we have some kind of mission to do.
Mm. True.
So just take it as a mission. Take it
Yeah.
as it is. Like you
Absolutely.
talk up,
Yeah.
you teach, you talk, you have compassion, no matter what's happening. If
Yeah.
you have good intentions and you are
Mm-hmm.
compassionate, your soul not gonna have regret.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
I say to my
I think
boys.
so too. Yeah. I mean, it's really important. You know, when we think about the troubling times, it's really important to also reflect on, how we get through that, not just for ourselves, but like you said, being compassionate and, having the intention to be helpful and beneficial for those who, you know, maybe didn't have the information and knowledge to be able to prepare, So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why
absolutely.
information is very important. And that's why have a plan always great, even if
Mm.
plan changing.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you are prepared, at least you have knowledge, at least you read about, and yeah, and then you prepared for the
Yeah.
storm, and
Yeah.
most likely to move forward
Mm. Yeah.
and stay safe.
Yeah. So that's the four charts. Are we done sharing the charts?
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
done sharing
yeah, yeah. Let me
stuff.
just flip this back here so there we are. Yeah. So yeah, that was, I mean, that was a lot of information, and I think hopefully the audience and the people watching and listening were able to take a lot away from that and just see, what's going on in the stars. And, you pointed out a lot of really incredible aspects and, conditions that we need to watch out for. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And where to invest, very, very important, guys, because as I said, lithium, uranium, anything to
Mm,
do with technology, cryptocurrency. There is a lot of new crypto going to come up, but also quantum AI. Gemini is a new software right now. It's a new GPT kind of software, which is because Uranus is going to go to Gemini. And I think Sam Altman, we were talking about that, he's going to have some kind of issue with law because of the other
mm,
guy died in suicide.
mm,
Then I think it's gonna move forward to Gemini. I said
mm,
niobium. I said, rare earth mineral. If you invest, you're going to be fine. Gold and silver. Make sure you have gold and silver. Undeveloped land. It's always better than property
mm,
because undeveloped land never going to have that much inflation like the property. For example, when we had North Node in 2008, 2007, it's already started. In Aquarius, we already had the crash of the property market. Right now,
mm,
we're going to have the first eclipse. It's a hybrid eclipse in November 17, 2026. Obviously, there is going to be something with market manipulation and also the housing market. So that's
mm.
why I said undeveloped land, buy
Yeah.
undeveloped land.
Yeah.
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 So just make sure you're ready. Anything to do with, Saturn is submarine, Neptune is
Mm,
ocean, right? It's
mm-hmm.
going to sex trine with Pluto in Aquarius and sextile with Uranus in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what's gonna happen? No, sextile with both. Actually, it's gonna be the point, the saving grace. It's gonna be the apex point. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
submarine technology also going to be amazing
Mm.
to invest in.
Interesting.
Mhm.
That's that's good information.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So
yeah, Krisztina, thank you for, all of your excellent analysis and, prognostications and your wisdom. It's been so delightful to have you here. Again, all the links and everything to your website and any publications, they'll be in the description below. So everybody feel free to connect with Krisztina there, check out her work. And, as always, until next time, keep your eye on the sky and make a wish upon a star.
yes.